So here we go. All right. Hey, everyone. This is Heather with Runway to Life, and we are here as a guest in the podcast studio of Window World with Matt, who's the owner here with us speaking. He is also one of our platinum sponsors from 2019 show, and he's again returning as a 2020 platinum sponsor. So thank you so much for hosting us here in your podcast studio, Matt.
You bet.
And thank you so much again for being a platinum sponsor this year. We're looking forward to collaborating more with you this year on great ideas and making this a bigger and better show.
Sure. My pleasure.
So we were talking a little bit earlier about just the uncertainty that's going on in the world and how important it is to continue normalcy as much as you can, which is what we're doing today, and being able to do a podcast, continue on with our mission for our nonprofit with mental health awareness and mental illness and helping to prevent suicide and talking more about mental health. We wanted to meet with you to talk about why you choose to support our mission so much, and if you have a personal story, anything that you'd like to share as well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate everything it is you guys do, bringing awareness to mental health, but more importantly than, along with that awareness, obviously resources and outlets to assist people with mental health.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
I think mental health is one of those things that uh, I would venture. I don't know that you guys know the statistics on this stuff, but I would say that uh, is there anybody that hasn't been affected in some way, form, fashion of mental health or mental health issues, be it a family member or close friends and people in their lives that hasn't been touched by
Exactly.
mental health? And I certainly have in my lifetime. But just taking a step back and the things that are happening right now, and there's absolutely indicators, right, that would lead to environmental factors and economic factors that certainly lead to mental health issues and things like that. And I think it's important that I think what's so cool about you guys is that you've been doing this for a while, and I've kind of seen this growing, and it's for me as a business owner, it's just been impressive how effective Runway to Life, let's call it a ground game, has been, even just from the last event in October of last year, I think it was. And so,
Hmm.
I believe in causes and resources for people that need those outlets in maybe some non-conventional ways,
Yeah.
right? I can say personally that I think I was first put into therapy when I was 8 or 9 years old.
Hmm.
Um, I can't tell you that what I got out of that. I don't know. That's how effective it was, right?
Hmm.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like that maybe wasn't the right person for me or the
Right.
right outlet for me, and that's okay, right? I didn't realize that until later in
Hmm.
life. And so, but in order to help mental health, I think you also have to, the person that may be suffering from some mental health, have to be prepared to uh, be involved in that. In other words, when I used to go to therapy and stuff, throughout my life, I don't know if I was honest, right?
Hmm.
I think I was telling people maybe what I thought they wanted to hear and giving them answers to questions that I thought they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Um, to the point where I almost thought it was like I'm here, they should be paying me because I'm here for their entertainment,
It's so true.
Um, and that's why therapy for me hadn't worked.
Hmm.
And it really wasn't until I, later in life had did uh, by accident, a deep self inventory, about on myself. It's like, hey, how am I perceived by others? And I hadn't been bummed out or anything, but I really needed to reevaluate the my relationships with people,
Hmm.
my impact on those relationships, and we all have impacts on everybody. Um, and come to the conclusion that stop lying to yourself, really.
Hmm.
Once I did that, and it's not like you complete, that's a continuing, that's life, right? You got
Hmm.
to continue to work at that. So I had the opportunity to get involved with you guys last year. And I believe in timing of things and serendipity, right? It was really serendipitous that when I met you guys, because we had a really good second half of last year, for the business. And Probably because we weren't in a as a business, we weren't in a position to necessarily, like, if your event had been, if I was approached in maybe March or April of
Mhm.
last year, I probably would have not been a platinum sponsor, but because I do believe in the cause, I would have contributed somehow,
Yeah.
but not to the degree that I did. Um, and so based on the timing of when I met you guys and when we had the opportunity to partner with you, it was just perfect.
Mhm.
And then obviously I've been thoroughly impressed by other businesses that have been involved, you know, just the individual people. And I think it's a really creative idea, to have, modeling and use that as a platform for, for awareness, including obviously clothing designers, things that I don't know anything about. You know about that stuff, but so yeah, I mean, we're proud to be a part of it. And I think in a time like this with COVID-19 and the scare
Mhm.
that's going around, I mean, look, none of us have been through this before. Um, and as I said before we went on here, I think, you know, doing nothing is obviously the easy way out,
Mhm.
as a business owner or as a mom or as a dad or whatever role it is you play in life. I think, we need to be conscious and we need to act upon things based upon, I mean, what do you go off of other than instinct, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So businesses like mine, I mean, we have to make adjustments, in order for long, stable stability down the road. If uh, if you don't have, you can have money going out if you don't really have money going in. And
Mhm.
so, as a business owner, it's important to make those necessary adjustments so that you're able to. I mean, the most important thing to me in a time or maybe a crisis or a pandemic like this, and again, I've never been through this before, but I want to make sure that my staff, my team, everybody is taken care of, you know,
Mhm.
because these times can hurt and certainly lead to. And again, we're fortunate enough to be in a position where, we can, sustain for a long time. But I think your mission is even more important. I don't know if this is right for me to say, but, in times like these, you
Mhm.
know, in other words, I would guess that the demand. I mean, look, people are laying, companies off. I saw something, a news story last night on a very popular restaurant here in Richmond, that I'm sure we all love, right? Is, just one of them. We're a restaurant town, and
Mhm.
so, but like Joe's Inn,
Mhm.
Richmond staple restaurant, their staff is gone, and they're interviewing the manager, and the dude was crying, you
Mm.
know, and
Yeah.
so. You know, on the news story and stuff, and that's emotional. That tugs at heartstrings, and so I think what your cause and what it is you guys do, is awesome. It's also important for people to know that you guys are there and you're
Yeah.
out here and you're here to help in situations, like that. So
Yeah. Well, gosh, so much of what you said was touching on so many different levels. That's so good. Number one, going back to where you talked about when you first were in therapy, you didn't have the right person. And oftentimes people think, well, therapy's not working. And it's not that therapy's not working, you just don't have the right person. And oftentimes people need to shop around and try different therapists, different counselors, to be able to find the right fit for you. Because just like anything else with doctors and medication and medical things, that sometimes the first thing that they tried doesn't work.
yeah,
And so you have to, it's a road to recovery.
yeah.
Oftentimes, too, there's primary care doctors that are prescribing mental health medication, which is a no
I
no.
had that before too.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's like that doesn't mix. They didn't study mental health. So it's like you need to be able to go to the right person to be able to diagnose what you've got and go through a trial period of seeing, is this helping you? Are you feeling better? But we love that being able to partner with people that can understand and not only empathize because you've gone through it yourself, but you have a passion for it behind all of that. I can hear just from your story and everything with talking about what you've been through personally. You get it, you understand it, and absolutely during this time of the year, especially because spring is coming up, they say that the statistics are that you will either go through mental health or mental illness, or you will have someone close to you that will go through it. So everyone's going to deal with it in some way, shape, or form. And so our fashion show, bringing together beauty and fashion to help bring more awareness and education to mental health and mental illness, and to help prevent suicide for people that are going through uncertain times that just don't know how to deal with it. And it's not that they want their life to end; they want the pain to end. They want the struggle
yeah,
and the feeling of hopelessness to go away.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, suicide's a, geez,
spring is probably the highest time frame too that people are going through this. So the fact that this disease is going around, this virus is going around during right before spring starts, is bringing a lot of things together all at once. But I believe in divine connections, and I think that it definitely was a great thing for you to be involved with this, and that during this time we're trying to do everything we can to help bring people the resources and the ability. We're not licensed clinical
Mhm.
therapists. We're trying to get some people on board, but we are here for you. And
You're real
oftentimes,
people.
people just want to hear.
Sure.
We all have our stories. I have my own story of going through struggles in life that I've overcome. That I shouldn't be sitting here now, even through just domestic violence that I've endured.
Mhm.
There are things that I've gone through that I can help someone. There's things that you've gone through that you can help
Sure.
someone, and those are the things that are what makes a difference in the world. Using what you do have to make a difference and help people. And you also said that earlier when we were here that being able to help us has blessed you in return. It makes you feel good.
Sure.
And those are the things that we want to encourage other people. We're still trying to be as normal as possible and being proactive and being safe about what we're doing. Like even in our podcast, we've got the social distancing going on
Right.
here, but we're still trying to be as normal as possible and being able to spread the word, spread the education, spread our cause and our mission, to let people know that they can still be a part of this.
Can I ask you what
Absolutely.
why spring would be the highest rate of, I guess, suicide? What is it? Have you guys like researched that and
We've
tracked that down, I guess?
Yeah, and we've done a lot of research, and you're going to hear more from our founding director, Alicia Amsler. She does a lot of our education side of things. She's done a lot of research. She's personally experienced things with her staff, her family. I've personally experienced suicide in our family and depression in our family. And so we're bringing all of those resources together to help bring that education. And we'll be talking more about that so that we have the actual statistics that she studied.
Sure.
I know that coming out of the wintertime, sometimes people think that there's more depression in the winter, but it's not. When it's in the
Or around the
spring,
holidays, right?
exactly. But it's coming out of the holidays when you're able to be kind of reclusive. Coming out of the holidays into the springtime, there's just something in the mental health that causes people. That's been the highest rate of depression and suicide
Interesting.
is in the spring. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So, and there's, I think they said 1 in 4 people have struggled with suicidal thoughts. It happens. It's not necessarily that they're going to go through with it. It's just that they've struggled with that thought of hopelessness. And so we want to remove that.
Well, and that counts, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
even the thought of that being a possibility
Yeah.
counts.
Yeah.
Whether it's carried out or not, I think if you can get to people when they're in that,
Yeah.
or an inclination of that being a possibility
Mm-hmm.
as a means to escape,
Yeah.
that's what you're all about, right?
Exactly. And we try to encourage too that there's got to be balance in your life. Mental health has many layers, and people think, well, I don't struggle with mental health. Well, have you ever been stressed? That's mental health. Have you
Sure.
ever been anxious? Have you been depressed? Have you gone through postpartum? Have you gone through
Anxiety,
any
I know
kind
you
of,
said that,
it's
yeah.
there's so many different layers. And so what we try to say is you've got to balance your life mentally, physically, and spiritually. And in order to do that, you've got to be out and you've got to share your story and bring it to the light. And that's what causes you to talk about it. And
Sure.
talking about it brings healing and hope. So we're going to be providing more resources and education and some sort of, I don't know if we want to call it counseling because we're not licensed counselors, but
Right.
we are kind of life coaches, helping people get them through their hard times and their struggles.
Mhm.
But we wouldn't be able to do these things if we didn't have sponsorships like you. And that's what we want to help promote is that we need people's resources that are able to bless in that way. If they've got the ability to be able to help support, whether it's financially or with tangible items or things like that, so we can help other people. That's what we're here for. It's
Sure.
not about making money. We're nonprofit. We want to be able to bring that education and awareness out there to help people live, get through these hard times and survive and prosper.
Yeah, I mean, I told my story last year when I was proud platinum sponsor. It's and there were many others that
Mhm.
told their story as well, and I felt that for me, it's become it's I I'm very open to begin with, and so maybe because of that, it's easy, but. There's a time. I mean, suicide was in my life at the age of 3.
Yeah.
That's how my father committed suicide when I was 3, and so basically, when my life began, there's several different things that have occurred since I'm 43 today, so it was 40 years ago.
Today?
No,
Are we here on
no,
your
40.
birthday?
No, it's not. Sorry, I'm 43 today as we sit here. I'm
Okay.
43. It was
Okay.
last month though.
Well,
But
happy belated birthday.
thank you. But so 40 years ago, my father committed suicide, and that's how I entered life. Right,
Mhm.
I entered life unknowing as a kid, these aren't things you think about. You're not cognitively developed enough, and you don't have enough. You can't really think about that stuff because your just brain doesn't have the ability to.
Mhm.
You know, who are these people that my friends? Hey, mom, my friend has this thing called a dad. Said he's got to ask his dad if I can sleep over or he
Mhm.
can sleep over. It's like that's how I knew what a dad was, right?
Mhm.
And so uh, but abandonment issues, right? And so even later in my life, as I became adult and started my career doing a couple of different things early on, was a big struggle for me, and I kept all of that in for the
Mhm.
most part, um, a lot of that in, and then you let it out through the wrong ways,
Mhm.
maybe abusing alcohol or drugs, and those type of things that
Filling
maybe
voids.
temporarily will fill in a
Mhm.
void, but
Yeah.
long term compound any mental issues. Of course, I think that's proven. So,
Well, and that's the great thing too is that we want people the part of the reason we bring together beauty and fashion is we want people to feel good and look good on the inside just as much as they do on the outside. And so often people wear those masks and they don't really have that truthful persona like we were talking about before. You have to have those moments where you do have self-reflection and say,
sure.
what am I portraying to the world? What am I doing? Am I leaving a legacy or am I living a lie?
In my role too, in my role as a business owner,
Mhm.
what I've learned over the years is that my team and everybody that works with me in my company is like they feed off of my energy,
Mhm.
as the leader or whatever. It's flattering, trust me, but um, I'm a human being
Yeah.
too. And so it's important to me that without a healthy me
Mhm.
today, I can't have a healthy team,
Exactly.
or as healthy as they could be, and optimize their potential in their careers and our mission as an organization and stuff. And so I'm conscious of that, and that so taking care of myself is very, very important. Um, so that I can't, without a healthy me, I can't be a healthy leader. I
Mhm.
can't be a healthy husband. I can't be a healthy dad. And so, and I never, it took me a long time, probably 35 years to really understand that.
Mhm.
Um, I have a story too, and we'll not get into it this time, but mental health has absolutely touched me and continues to live in my family, even in my immediate home as well as my relatives and
Mhm.
in different parts of the country and stuff. So, yeah, it's very important, and anything that I can do to give back or help one person. I think Alicia, the founder, had mentioned to me, if I can just impact one life, then I'm satisfied. Of course, that was probably a 50,000 lives ago,
Yeah.
and God bless her for her work,
Yeah.
and what it is that she's doing, in her mission to, Runway to Life and what it is you guys are about. It's a pleasure. So going back to what you first said, part of the again, navigating waters of the unknown right now with
Mhm.
the coronavirus and things that are going on. There are some obviously fundamental adjustments that I need to be making as a business owner, but it's also important to the safety of our staff, our team, um, and it's important to keep things as normal as possible
Mhm.
around me. While there's things that need adjusting,
Right.
right, which we're doing, but it's also important to me to remain committed to um, charities like Runway to Life, because again, those are positive experiences for us. And so, no, we're a pleasure. It's our honor to be a part of it, and we look forward to a continued partnership with you guys. So,
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you so much. We really appreciate it. And our whole mission is, again, to remove that stigma so people can talk about it more. So we so appreciate you sharing your story, not only last year, but again, a little bit this year, and hopefully more throughout the rest of the year. While we're going through this stuff, we're going to have a lot more podcasts and things that are done through social media because of the social distancing and whatever else happens as we get further along through this virus. But
Sure.
we will survive through this and we will get to a place of prospering. And I believe that it'll bring more unity together, just like we were talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
before.
It's important to note too, though, this isn't something that I do for for an advertising piece or a marketing
Right.
thing, I've done things like this before. We've always given back, but the publicity piece of it is not really something like that I want it out there because it brings awareness in this case,
Absolutely.
right? But it's not something I do to say, hey, call Window World, buy from us because we're really good people. I mean, I think it's if you're a business owner, especially in the Richmond, Virginia area,
Mhm.
and you're looking for maybe something to be a part of, such as this, um, I think this is very, very important. A lot of charities out there are great. They're wonderful. St. Jude, we love St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We've seen what our giving with St. Jude. We've seen it like firsthand.
Mhm.
What it has done for St. Jude. We're a very important part to them. They're a very important part to us. Veterans, things like that, all critical things. But I also think it's very critical to get involved on a much m- uh, more local level, and
Mhm.
that's what you guys bring to the table for at least my Window World brand and here in Richmond. So if you're a business owner in Richmond and you're looking for something like this, you call me. I'm happy to give you the business owners kind of take on this and what it is. But I think any support um, given from our community here is what is only going to bring us even closer together. Um, First, as a nation, once we get this coronavirus thing kind of behind us, but also as a local community, I think it's very, very important. And I know you guys are going to need it too
Yeah,
with,
absolutely.
with the things that are happening out there. So I know you're going to need the support. And look, runway to life.
Yeah,
So,
Runway to Life. So if you're looking forward to being a sponsor of us, info at Runway to Life is our email address. And then if you're looking for help, reach out to us. We're here for you. Info at Runway to Life. We've got our social media platforms. We do check those messages. We're here for you. We'll get through this together and take care of your mental health. And until then, we'll talk to you soon. And next time, we will have an even better story to share.
sure.
Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate your help
Hey,
today.
thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks.